which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance, stir us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2.03, approval of the minutes. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, ma'am. I would just like to offer one amendment on on page 9, House Bill 1159, because it's a little bit more of a substantive change. This was the Education Student Organization sale of beverages with caffeine. Recommended position was from the board to oppose, but it actually has my name in twice, and in checking with Mr. Webb, I believe he opposed, so I'd like to make a motion that we amend the minutes to show that Ms. Korbelak, Ms. Burge, Mr. Jackson, and Ms. Ritchie were in favor. Ms. Nally, Mr. Webb, and Ms. Chaudhry were opposed, and the motion failed.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, now do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0-0. Item 2.04, establish agenda order, and the agenda stands as published. Item 2.05 is recognitions. I have Lori Snyder to come forward.
Good evening. I'm Lori Snyder, the Senior Manager of the Performing and Visual Arts Magnet Programs, and I have the pleasure of introducing this evening's board recognition. Before I begin, I would like to ask the members of the board and Dr. Arlotta, please come forward. As you know and have seen firsthand, we have some extraordinarily talented artists in our school system. We are here tonight to recognize some of those students. These are the winners of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Visionary Kids Contest, selected from over 115 entries from middle and high school students across Anne Arundel County. As a part of the contest, held in conjunction with the Martin Luther King Memorial Breakfast and sponsored by Anne Arundel County Public Schools, the Anne Arundel County Arts Council, and the King Memorial Breakfast Committee, students in grades 6 through 12 were charged with creating submissions using different media. Their theme this year was Children Are Our Future. Dr. King spoke of a world in which his 4 little children would be judged based not on the color of their skin, but only on the content of their character. These young artists conceptualized that idea through their art, and they did so brilliantly. In the high school category, first place went to Jazani Wilson, Annapolis High School. Absolutely. For her video, I Have a Dream. There was a tie for second place high school between visual art painting contestants Sarah Alley of South River High School for Take Them With You, and Grace Biddle, also of South River High School, for The Puzzle of Love. Among the middle school contestants, there were a three-way tie for first place. The judges simply could not decide between Eliana Garcia's essay entitled The Strange Girl, Mia Josik's artwork titled A Rain Full of Colors, and Nikita Plaisant's artwork titled Children Are Our Future. All 3 students attend Bates Middle School. In addition to our talented students, tonight we have Anne Arundel County Volunteer Center Executive Director Faye Morrow, who serves on the Breakfast Committee and is here to celebrate with us tonight. As they all come forward, please join us in congratulating these incredible artists.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And your congratulations. And this your congratulations. Hi. Hi there. How are you? We started pushing the chairs already.
Can I get all of you to squeeze out?
Now that he's got you all fixed. Everybody smile. I'm gonna take one more. Perfect, thank you.
Next, we have item 2.06, school and community highlights. Dr. Olato.
Yes, I want to congratulate Meade High School on several pieces. The first of which is their boys won the 4A state championship in basketball. I'm very proud of their basketball team. A challenging season, and they came out on top, and it's quite an impressive season. But even more impressive than their win on the court was their play off the court. They were recognized at the same time after the win as the team that won the year's sportsmanship trophy in boys basketball for the year, and that is equally, if not more important. So we're very proud of Meade. I also just want to say, because I know that we are in the throes of park testing, so far we've tested over some 10,000 students. Going into now we've completed our first week and into week 2. And we've tested 10,000 students, a little over 14,000 assessments. And while we've had some technological hiccups at times, it is our staff that has overcome that, our STCs in the schools, along with the administrators. Jason Dykstra's team and IDD have done a phenomenal job. The STCs in the building and the techs have done a phenomenal job. And Greg Barlow, I want to thank you personally and your team who've been working on this for 4 years to get us where we are today, and it's really working very, very smoothly. So I thank you all very much. Thank you.
Mrs. Birch.
I just want to thank everyone in the school system who was involved in Leadership Anne Arundel's Day last Thursday. I'm part of this year's Leadership Anne Arundel class, and we were hosted by the Phoenix Center for our Education Day, and then were hosted at several schools, including Tyler Heights, Germantown, South River, and the Phoenix Center. I'm not sure if I missed one. I didn't go to all of them, so I'm not sure if there were any others. But afterwards, I heard discussions from my classmates who had wonderful things to say about all of the schools that they went to. They were so impressed with the students, with the faculty, with the things that were going on with our schools. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Arlato for being there to welcome my classmates, and to all of the faculty and staff who were so welcoming to my classmates and made such a great impression, because everyone was very impressed with the things that are going on at our schools. So thank you very much.
Ms. Chaudhry.
Last week I got to attend a Tribute to Women of Color scholarship and awards luncheon with Ms. Korbelak, and that was a wonderful event. So I want to thank the NAACP for inviting us, and I want to congratulate our students who were honored there. That was pretty nice. They have some great achievements that they should be proud of.
And I'd just like to add that Dr. Olato and I had a chance to go to the Blue Ribbon Awards Banquet for Lakeshore and Severna Park Elementary School to celebrate their award, and it was a really lovely evening in Annapolis. Item 2.07 is the CRASC report.
Good evening, Dr. Alato, President Korblack, and board members. My name is Molly Fitzpatrick, and I am a sophomore at Broadneck High School, and I am the CRAS secretary.
And my name is Scott Harris, and I am a sophomore at Arundel, and I am the CRAS treasurer. Jacob is taking off a few weeks to focus on his campaign, so we are thrilled to be speaking on behalf of CRAS.
Last week, the CRAS exec staff helped prepare our 3 candidates for the student board member elections by hosting a public question and answer session. It was attended by CRASC alumni, and we even fielded questions from previous SMOPs via social media.
We were also joined by Dr. McMahon, Ms. Kuches, and Dr. Cianfrani to discuss student recognition and assessments. We really enjoyed being able to participate in this discussion.
Anytime that anyone wants to attend one of our meetings to discuss policy, please come because it was so great. Next week, a delegation of students is heading to the annual convention of the Maryland Association of Student Councils. It's in Hunt Valley this year, and among other activities, the student delegation will elect a new student to follow Chesapeake High School senior Kara Ritterpush as MASC president.
On April 8th, the students of Anne Arundel County will elect a new student member on the Board of Education. This event will be at South River High School from 9:45 to 12:45. Please join us.
And thank you for allowing us to speak on behalf of the students of Anne Arundel County.
Thank you. Item 2.08, the PTA report.
Good evening, President Korbelak, Vice President Nally, Dr. Olato, and members of the board. For the record, I am not Pam Bukowski, though I'm reading her notes verbatim. My name's Angelic Carroll. I'm with the Anne Arundel County PTA. I'm the Vice President of Legislation. Pam, of course, is the President. Although the weather impacted our school communities this past month, we have been able to accomplish advocacy and other roles to support our schools, parents, and students in Anne Arundel County. On Wednesday, February 18th, after lengthy 4+ hours of discussion, the school board nominating committee arrived at the consensus in order to submit a slate of names to Governor Hogan for his consideration in appointing to fill a District 33 and an at-large seat for the school board. And because we don't ever seem to get enough time here in the boardroom, the next evening, February 19th, a recognition reception was held for students from PTA schools in the county who had participated in the PTA Reflections Program. The arts and the National PTA Reflection Program support student success and serve as a valuable tool for building strong partnerships in our school community. We attempt to enhance arts learning in our AACPS schools with reflections. At the county level, over 50 students created original works of art in the categories of dance, choreography, film production, literature, music composition, photography, and visual arts. On March 4th, Maryland PTA held their 2015 Legislative Night at the House of Delegates building on Baden Street. Anne Arundel County Council of PTAs was represented, as well as several members of the Anne Arundel County delegation. Along with nearly 200,000 Maryland PTA members, AACC PTA continues to protect the education, health, and overall well-being by advocating for educational opportunity and equity for all children. Currently, we are preparing for our annual Founders Day dinner to be held on Friday, April 17th. We are looking forward to having board members, AACPS leadership, and the community, as well as political leaders, join us to celebrate the accomplishments of our PTA volunteers who comprise our 87 PTA units in Anne Arundel County. We are also beginning the process of selecting 2 graduating seniors as recipients of our Ken Lawson Education Scholarship and Phoebe Apperson Hurst General Scholarship. We received over 35 applications representing Annapolis, Arundel, Meade, Chesapeake, Old Mill, Severna Park, South River, and Southern High Schools. As always, we are amazed and gratified by the high caliber of young people who are products of the Anne Arundel County public school system. With parent and school system community collaboration, our students are prepared for the rigors of being a productive citizen of the 21st century. Anne Arundel County Council of PTAs continues in our efforts to be collaborative with the Superintendent Olato and the board personnel to support our school staff and general communities, to encourage and engage parents, and to advocate for all children. As always, PTA thanks you for these many opportunities to speak for every child, one voice.
Thank you. The next portion of our meeting is the public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on an item not on today's agenda may offer testimony during this public comment portion of the meeting. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes each. The board asks that comments remain civil and appropriate for the various audiences that may be watching or viewing the meeting. Student-specific and personnel matters are confidential and cannot be discussed in this forum. This time is intended for speakers to voice their opinion and not necessarily as a question and answer period. Speakers may pose questions, but answers will be counted toward the 3-minute allotment. For the record, please give your name before speaking, and handouts should be given to the board assistant. I have 4 completed cards right now. Would Mickey O'Manuel, Laura Carter, Robert Jones, and Lisa Rose come up? Mr. Manuel.
Great. Ms. Carter, why don't you go ahead and start off?
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Good evening.
Oops, sorry.
Sorry.
My bad.
Greetings, President Korbelak, Vice President Nally, Superintendent Arlotto, and members of the board. For the record, my name is Mickey O'Manuel. I have grandchildren in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Madam President, you are aware that I've testified before this board several times in the last year, urging it to provide the wisdom and courage necessary to support the OCR agreement. For those who are not aware, a group of community members filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education in 2004 alleging racial disparities in education in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Using ACPS's own data, the U.S. Department of Education recommended mediation and referred the case to the U.S. Department of Justice. Then Anne Arundel County Public School Superintendent Dr. Eric Smith requested mediation in lieu of sanctions, which the community agreed to. In September 2005, the Department of Justice Office of Civil Rights mediated the OCR agreement. Madam President, you may recall I previously testified that in March of 2009, while serving as the Education Committee Chair for the Anne Arundel County NAACP, I said it was my intention to support Anne Arundel County Public Schools in every way I could. I also said that while my default position is to support Anne Arundel County Public Schools, I would not hesitate to oppose it when appropriate. Anyone who has been sufficiently engaged knows that I criticize and commend ACPS as well as parents and community groups as I deem appropriate. I'm here today to commend Anne Arundel County Public Schools for the incredible work that has been going on behind the scenes related to the new K-1 curriculum. It is my understanding this new curriculum is scheduled to take effect with the 2015-2016 school year. I was in awe of the depth and breadth of the potential this new curriculum has to elevate all students and eliminate all gaps. I have shared my thoughts about the new curriculum with many individuals, community groups, and church leaders, and hope ACPS will leverage varied community channels and communication methods to ensure wide dissemination of how this new curriculum supports enhancing elementary education, or EEE, the initiative. I also hope ACPS will be transparent in periodically disclosing the results of this new curriculum. Dr. Arlotto and everyone Dr. Arlotto and everyone involved in creating this new curriculum deserves a resounding expression of appreciation for a job well done. My lay opinion is the new curriculum will put the academic needs of all students first and enhance the likelihood all students will achieve their maximum potential. It is my hope parents and community groups will support this new curriculum. There will be many opportunities for parents and community groups to help launch and sustain this new venture. By putting the interests of students first and giving this new venture a chance to be successful, I'm confident we will start down the education path we've all been wanting for our children. I encourage ACPS not to be distracted by those who will see the cup as half empty. In closing, I'm troubled it has taken 10 years to arrive at the threshold of limiting the achievement gap, as well as how many more students affected by the achievement gap will graduate or drop out of Anne Arundel County Public Schools before the achievement gap is eliminated. Thank you.
I have Laura Carter next.
Thank you. Sorry about that snafu. My name is Laura Carter. I teach 6th grade language arts at Southern Middle School. I've been there for a dozen years. I was the 2011 Anne Arundel County Teacher of the Year and a finalist for the State Teacher of the Year. And it was the greatest accomplishment and honor of my life because I love my job. It is my calling, it is my passion, and it is my joy. So I want to thank you Dr. Arlotto and members of the school board for this opportunity to share a profound concern that I have about our students' education here in Anne Arundel County and across the nation. We're all here because we're invested in public education. We're all here because we believe in our children, and we believe that our children are our future. And they certainly are. Just look at those beautiful children that came up front tonight with their talent and their passion. But what I'm seeing now, and have seen steadily over the course of the last 12 years, is a sucking of joy out of the classroom. And I attribute this to high-stakes standardized testing. We are testing our students to death. We are ruining our classrooms, and we are forfeiting their education at the altar of test scores and data. While I do believe that we must, of course, assess our student learning and know what they know and where we need to go from there, I think that we have come to a place in our system now where we are testing more than we're teaching, and that's certainly the way the students feel. 40-some years ago, my mother ran for the school board because she saw that our school system was going to a back to the basics program, and she was very alarmed by that. So she went after a school board position, and I grew up knowing and seeing the difference that a school board can make in a school community. And don't worry, I'm not after any of your jobs, but I love teaching, and I intended to stay there until they pried me out with a crowbar. But I have to say now that I'm considering an earlier retirement than I might have, because it is just exhausting and depressing and sad to see students day after day come in and just be so stressed out and so lost. We're not accommodating special needs students on these PARCC tests, and it's not just the PARCC test. It's the HSA and the benchmark and the SLO and the next SLO and the pretest for the SLO. And then you've got the unit tests and the semester and high school exams. And all of this testing is taking time away from learning. It's an opportunity cost that I don't think that we can afford. We need to inject and bring joy back to teaching and learning and find a way to learn what our students know and need to know without the constant barrage of endless high-stakes standardized testing to which teacher ratings are tied. And tell me now, if you tie teacher ratings to testing, what are teachers going to spend their time focusing on? We're good people. We want to do the right thing. And I promise you I will diligently and professionally administer the test to my students. They will never know how I feel about it, except for on the inside, I will be crying.
Mr. Jones.
Hi, my name is Robert Jones, and I am a teacher at that hotbed of revolutionary thought, Southern Middle School. But it's part of the American way to be revolutionary. We're told that. It's our whole culture. I went out of I broke the rules here by going ahead, but that's the American spirit. We're told as kids, think outside the box, be creative, come up with a new idea. Our whole thing is like, what has America lost its innovation? Well, test taking goes against all those, goes against creativity. When you go ahead and teach, or you go ahead and teach the tests, unfortunately that's what happens. You end up teaching rote memorization. You end up teaching test-taking skills, how to go ahead and take a multiple choice test. You're just teaching those things. You're not teaching the kids how to think, how to go ahead and come up with their own creative ideas. We need to go ahead and get back to that. When we take the test, we even tell the kids, don't think outside the box. All answers that are outside the box will not be scored. Keep all your answers within inside the box. It goes against with the culture, the American culture, which is think outside the box. We need to get to be more creative thinking. We need to get to more creative skills. We need to have more arts integration, things that make the kids think and makes the brains come alive. Thank you very much.
Lisa Rose.
Mrs. Rose. Thank you to the board and Dr. Arlotto for the opportunity to speak. My name is Lisa Rose, and I also am at Southern Middle School. This is my 19th year of teaching in Maryland. I was born here, I went to school here, and I graduated in 1994 from the University of Maryland after I completed my enlistment in the United States Air Force. I have been very fortunate to work with many hardworking, truly dedicated educators who believe, as I do, that our children are our most precious resource. We are investing in their future and ours as we help them to become thinkers and problem solvers and successful participants in life. These skills are priceless, whether or not college is a planned destination. When Arnie Duncan came to visit Anne Arundel County, I attended the town hall meeting. Some data that he shared really got me thinking. He said that 50% of college freshmen in 2011 had enrolled in remedial courses. They were not prepared for college. Those kids were in 3rd grade in 2001 when high-stakes testing was in full swing. I looked at Maryland State data to try and answer some of my questions. The class of 2010 had an 82% graduation rate of 68,306 graduates. This means the number of non-graduates entering the labor force was 14,994. Of those graduates, only 64% enrolled in college, which added 24,591 more into the labor force. Of those that went to college, only 58 have received degrees, which added another 24,153 into the labor force. Of the 83,300 students in the class of 2010, 26,940 have received college degrees. That's 32%. In my 19 years as an educator, I have taught a very wide spectrum of students with a vast range in ages, abilities, readiness, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. I have been an educator in a co-taught classroom many times. I taught math and science to gifted 4th and 5th graders. Within all these differences, there is one constant. All children want to learn, and they all want to experience success. But they are not. The curriculum is written to address the small percentage of students who are college-bound. Is college attainable for more? Absolutely. Even so, not all of our students will go to college or even want to go to college, and that should be okay. But all of them are entering life, and high-stakes testing is preventing us from addressing the needs of all of our students. If our success as educators is measured by the results of PARCC, our true merit will not be known. The public may continue to lose faith in our credibility. But if our success can be measured by the individual progress of our students within the vast array of ability and background, the results will be immeasurable. It's time to trust us and let trained educators address the needs of all of our students.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have any additional cards. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board at this time? Okay. The next set of items on the agenda are action items. We have item 4.01, administrative personnel appointments for information. Are any questions from the board? Okay. Item 4.02, sabbaticals. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend that the sabbatical leave requested be approved.
All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0-0. 4.03. This is a policy revision, 3rd reading, eligible riders, code EAA. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation?
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy EAA, subject to final correction for style and format.
Is there any public comment on this item? All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0-0. The next item is 4.04, policy revision, 3rd reading, student transportation, code EA. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy EA, subject to final correction for style and format.
Is there any public comment on this policy? All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0-0. Item 4.05, policy revision, 3rd reading, assignment and transfer or transfer of students to a school, JAB. Dr. Arlotto, your recommendation.
I recommend approval of policy JAB, subject to final correction for style and format.
Is there any public comment on 4.05? All those in favor? Motion passes 700. Item 4.06, policy community use of school facilities, KC, also a third reading. Dr. Arlotto, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy KC, subject to final correction for style and format.
Is there any public comment on 4.06? All those in favor? Motion passes 700. Item 4.07, policy revision, third reading, board executive sessions, code BCC. Dr. Arlotto, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy BCC, subject to final correction for style and format.
Is there any public comment on item 4.07? All those in favor? Motion passes 700. Item 4.08, policy revision, third reading, opening and patriotic exercises, code IKA. Dr. Arlotto, your recommendation.
I recommend approval of policy IKA, subject to final correction for style and format.
Is there any public comment on 4.08? All those in favor? Motion passes 700. Mr. Jackson.
I just want to thank Jessica and the entire policy team because a lot of work is going on to get these 6 done. So thank you very much.
And Jessica gets to stay because 5.01 is update on legislation. And this is a review item.
That's correct. As of Jessica Kutch's Policy and Legislative Council, as of today, the House of Delegates has introduced 1,278 bills, and the Senate has introduced 935 bills. The exhibit that you have with this information is accurate as of March 11th. There have been some minor adjustments to some of the bills on your exhibit, but no significant passages of bills to report on both the House and the Senate side. So if you have any questions about particular bills in the exhibit, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
We don't have any questions. Is there any public comment on 5.01? Thank you. 5.02 is a review item, monthly financial status report and FY 2015 revenue and expenditure projections. We don't have any presentation. Are there any board questions about 5.02? Is there any public comment? Okay. Our last 2 items are consent items, 6.01 and 6.02. Do I have a motion to bundle these and move them from information to action? All those in favor? We now have an action item. Dr. Arlotto, your recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend that the Board of Education award contracts as listed on the agenda as 6.01 and 6.02 inclusive.
All those in favor? Motion passes 700. Is this a record? Before I conclude, I just want to have a couple announcements. The next Board of Education meeting is Wednesday, April 8th at 10 a.m. The next Board Policy Committee meeting is Wednesday, April 15th at 8:30 a.m. The next Board Budget Committee meeting is Wednesday, April 1st at 12:30 p.m. in Conference Room 2A. And the board will be holding a public hearing on the superintendent's recommendation on redistricting on Tuesday, April 14th here in the Parham Building at 7 p.m. And signups will begin at 6 o'clock. And that concludes our meeting for the evening. Thank you.